Oh, it's Selection Sunday and Portal Monday. We just got a lot of activities going on right now. It's fun. It's crazy. You're getting prepared for a NCAA tournament game and checking the portal every 5 minutes to see if any of your kids have gone in too.
How do you balance everything trying to prepare a team when you have a roster to manage, you use a couple kids, you're trying to get kids? How do you manage that?
You have to multitask. I mean, it's part of it. It's what we do. I tell people all the time. I think, I've got family and friends that are like, man, I'd love to have your job. I mean, you just work for 2 hours during a game, and I'm like, yeah, that's about 5% of the job. I mean, it's been since Monday. I was on the phone probably for about 3, 4 hours just last night working on portal kids. I mean, kids are they're going in. You're trying to find out. Hey, are you interested? You not? Who you interested in? What are you looking for? So, we prepared for Drake during the day, and then at night you're working on filling a roster. So it's fun though. I mean, it's part of the job, and it's intriguing, and you're trying to find the right pieces to go with the ones you have. It's yeah, enjoy it.
You've had success in the portal. How has the reception been for you? Because you obviously are going to have some
Oh, we definitely have some room, and it's been really good. You know, there's you're just going out to try and find some players that really understand what it takes to play at the level that we're trying to play at. It we're a runner up in the ACC, the tournament. We're 23-11. We're a 5 seed, and it's been a tough year according to some. And it's like if that's a tough year, boy, I'd hate to see what a bad year is. You know, and that's part of the expectations though, because you talk to players when you recruit them, you try to get to know them, you try to talk to their family. They think they know what they're getting into, and then when they get here, it's more than they wanted, and that's okay. I mean, that's part of it, and especially now with the portal, I'm shocked. It's going to be surprising if just about every team doesn't have somebody going in the portal. The hard thing is the kids that you bring in. You look at a Jasmine Jones and Antonita Slaughter, a Bianca Dunham, several of our players that might not have played much as a freshman, played a little bit more as a sophomore, and all of a sudden, boy, as a junior, it's clicked and they've developed and they've gotten better. I'm not sure how many of those you're going to continue to have because people they want to play right now, and if you've got 14 or 15 on your roster, it's impossible. So that's why I'm getting to a point of really trying to get down to where, you might have 10 to 12 because you can play 10 to 12. But when you get to 14, you can't keep everybody happy. And then if they're not willing to develop and continue to work, and then when their time comes, you take advantage of it, they're going to leave anyway. So I'll be surprised if we have over 10, 11 on next year's roster.
Jeff, you mentioned, obviously a relatively tough year. If you take, honestly, you take the record and put a different name on it, it's still a good year. How do you
Well,
balance?
it's a great year.
Yeah, how do you balance that, I guess, of just knowing the standard that you guys have yourselves, but I guess not letting it, make you feel, I guess, a different way about, the season that
Oh,
you've had?
it doesn't bother me one bit. I mean, I know what our team has done, and I'm really impressed with the way we've competed, how we've gotten a better throughout the year. And I also go back and look at some of our games, and we were right there in about 4 of them. Had chances at Wake. We're up 12 in the second half. We lose at Notre Dame in overtime, a 3-point game here at home. Duke's a 3-point game with 40 seconds to go at Duke. Um, we go overtime. I think it was with South Dakota State. Our Gonzaga game goes overtime. Well, just 3 or 4 of them. If you're 27-7, I think everybody's probably thrilled. So you don't worry about it. You can't. You just can continue to get better. And I think we've done that. And I like where we are right now. I think we're playing really good basketball and have a chance to go into this and put our best foot forward.
Jeff, I think I counted that there's 5 teams in your region you guys have played this year between non-conference and conference. How much does that maybe help you guys? I know you take it one game at a time, but that familiarity as a whole.
Well, it's one game at a time. And as you go through, I mean, there's 5 teams right now. You've got to win the first game. And then it's like, all 5 of those teams would have to win to where you'd even have to worry about it. Because we're sitting here right now with a very, very good Drake team to worry about. And then, Texas is playing a really good East Carolina team. So you just worry about the game that's at hand. You don't even worry about what's next. When we were a 1 or 2, a 2 seed, you might spend one day of prep preparing for an 8-9 game. But, when you're 4 or 5, you're just worried about that one you've got to play. You still got a day in between. It's not like you're going to a tournament where there's no day in between, or the ACC tournament to where you're possibly playing 3 or 4 games in 3 or 4 days. So it's one of these where, if we're fortunate to get past a Drake and Texas wins, we played back in November. Both teams are completely a different ball club. So you can look at some things, but it's all brand new. Yeah, they are a well-coached team. They're a ball club where you can't have mental breakdowns. As I've been saying for the past month, my bads will get you sent home, because if you don't close out on all of them, they all shoot to 3. I mean, every single play on the roster, except for one, is made a 3, and they shoot it at a 33% clip. I mean, we shoot it at about a 34%, 35. We shoot the 3 well, but we just don't have everybody shooting them, So for Drake, you've got to be prepared. You can't fall asleep. You can't just back off of one player and say, I'm not going to step out on the floor and guard them. You've got to be prepared for a 5-out. They pass and cut. They read. It's not A goes to B goes to C. You overplay, they'll back cut. If you go under, they'll flare it. So they do a really good job. They play hard. They've got nice size. It's a ball club's got 6'3". If you call it the 5, you can call it the 5. But they've got 6'2", and then they bring in good size. So I'm very impressed with them. I've seen them a few times during the year on TV, and we have the utmost respect for them. I can promise you that. There's nobody on this ball club who's going down here thinking, it's an easy game, we'll worry about a second-round matchup. That's not the case.
Jeff, your girls talked a little bit about being underdogs and playing with a chip on their shoulder. Do you like that attitude going in?
Yeah, I mean, I think this team handles that a little bit better and embraces it. Instead of being the 1 seed, the 2 seed, I think this team handles that and likes it. So, would we have liked to have been playing at home? Of course. But going on the road, we're looking forward to that, and it's going to be a great ball game. I've got a ton of respect for Drake. They do a fantastic job. As you said, they score the basketball, averaging close to 80 points a game. They lead the country in assists per game. So they pass the ball extremely well. And we're going to have to make sure defensively we're on point.
I talked to Mikasa, and she mentioned, at points during the season, just kind of maybe having just struggles off the court, but then her teammates kind of picking her up. When you have someone like her who has been that leader and is the one that is normally supporting other people, how important is that to have people around her that can lift her up in those moments?
Well, it's great. I mean, and that's one thing I'll say about this team is they've done a great job of picking each other up. It's a long year. It's a grind. You're in it together for 6 months, counting your preseason. So you have to have a group of players that are going to challenge each other and push each other, but at the same time, when someone needs to be picked up, that they're there to pick them up. And I think that's what I've been most impressed with this team, because we've lost more games than we've lost here in one season in 10 years. But it's one of those where it's understanding, we've also been a 1 seed, I think, for 3 or 4 of those years. So we're 23 in 11, and they needed to stick together, even when there may have been some out there going, man, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? They're not that good. They're not. I think we're damn good. But we have to prove it now. I thought the last month of the season, I thought we played really good basketball. And it's because we've gotten better at the defensive end of the floor. And we've also, we do a pretty decent job of scoring the basketball. It's not like we're terrible. We're averaging close to 73 points a game. But what we've got to do is to make sure we're ready to guard. That's going to be the big thing in Saturday's game.
Jeff, I don't think Haley knew that she was an honorable mention for the All-America team until she got in here. Like, we told her that, and to put it lightly, she strongly disagreed with that. Do you, I guess, have a take? I know you had mentioned a couple times this year you thought.
Yeah, I think she's an All-American. That's just my opinion on that, and that's okay. There's a lot of players out there. We're not the only one that has gone through a year and these awards come out and been like, man, I thought my kid should have been there. I still would put her up there as one of the top 2 or 3 players in our league without question. She's had a great year, and has really gotten stronger as the year's gone on. And I think she's playing some really good basketball right now. So, some of those things you don't have control over, so you can't worry about it. All you can do is go out on the court and prove them and say, hey, this is where I should have been. But I definitely think she is an All-American. She's one of the top players in our league, and I'm glad she's on our team.
Kind of going off of that, the intensity that she plays with, what's it like from your perspective?
She competes. I love it. She hates to lose more than she likes to win, and that's what you have to have. You got to have players that just hate to lose, and she hates to lose. She puts the work in. You're never going to question, is she in the gym? Is she going to be prepared for the game? Her defense has really improved over this past year and a half. I thought, even during her sophomore year, it got better. And now, we keep track of defensive stops. What's our D chart? How many times you get scored on? What's the percentage? And she's always right there in what we call the green, which is you're under 20% of the time that you're getting scored on. She's been solid, and she's been really good. So, again, I'm looking forward to it because she loves this time of year as well.
She talked a lot about an adjustment this year being that some new faces to the team. It's like, hey, how are you guys going to help us get to a Final Four? Like, we don't just carry you back to the Final Four. I guess how much of a mental adjustment is that over the course of a season, and what do you try to tell some of the newer players about adjusting to that?
Well, I just think, that's the big thing with the portal is, you're bringing players in that might not have played at the level of expectations that we have here. So it's getting them to understand, the mindset of, well, we play on Thursday, then we play again on Sunday in league play. You lose on Thursday, it's okay. We play on Sunday. No, it's not okay. There's just a different approach to how you do things. We're getting 8,500 fans a year on average, okay, per game this season, which, I had Matt do the research, and I'll put it out here hopefully today. In men and women, ACC, we finished 6th in attendance. So there's 15 teams in the league, I think. So we outdrew 10 men's teams on average. See, that's what doesn't get out there enough because, oh, nobody goes to a women's games. No, we outdrew 10 men's teams in the ACC. That's pretty damn good. So we have expectations here. So every day, our goal is to get back to a Final Four and have a chance to win the thing. Everybody's like, your goal should be to win it. It is, but you got to get back to a Final Four before you got a chance to win it. Okay, and that's, and then as you go, once you get down to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, it takes a little luck too. And that's like the finals of our league. We played the finals against Tech. I thought that first quarter was going well. It was a battle back and forth, and then they bank in a 3 at the buzzer. You got to, and I don't think she called bank. But you got to, those are the plays you have to make. Those are the plays when the ball's going your way. It's like, okay, I'm feeling it tonight. And that's what can happen in the NCAA tournament. But that's what makes this time of year so special. It's the best team is not always going to win. It's a team that played the best that night. In the NBA, baseball, you've got a best of 7 series. So normally the best team is going to prevail over that series. But when you're just one game, it's whoever plays the best that night. And that's what we've talked to our players about. We just have to be the best team that night. And that's why I've always said it, and I'll continue to say it. The winner of the regular season in every conference should get the automatic bid because they have been the best team in that league over a 2-month period where you play in a conference tournament, and especially if you're a mid-major, it's really tough because you're the best team. You've won your league over 2 months, and all of a sudden you win in the quarterfinals. You're getting ready to play in the semis, and your point guard steps on a foot 3/4 of the way through, sprains an ankle. You win the game, but now they're out for the finals. And then you lose, and all of a sudden you've been the best team for 2 months, but because of a sprained ankle, you're not getting that bid. And then a lot of those leagues are one-bid leagues. So now you're ending up playing in the NIT or some other postseason event over a sprained ankle. That's why I would love to see, and I've said it for years, that your regular season champion gets the at-large bid. But then it would take a little away some of the excitement that comes with your conference tournaments where all of a sudden somebody upsets somebody and now they're in. But you could use the conference tournament as a way to play your way in. You don't get the at-large, but hey, if you can win 4 games in 4 days and you show that you're playing great basketball, it might get you in. But we're excited about it because you just got to play your best that night. You've got to make sure that you're mentally and physically prepared. And at this time of the year, it's just as important to be mentally prepared as it is physically because you've got to make sure you know who every shooter is on the floor. You got to know who you're guarding. You have to know what you're running, and you've got to be able to convert.
Kind of along those lines, and this will obviously be Nyla's first NCAA tournament, what gives you the most confidence in her ability to be able to rise to that occasion?
The kid loves to play, and the great thing about her, when she goes out there on Saturday, I don't know if she'll know that it's not the first game of the season compared to the NCAA tournament. She just loves to play. I don't think she'll get caught up in the moment. She has a motor, and she plays at a high pace. So because of that, I'm not as concerned because I know she's going to give me all she's got. Now, if she starts to think about it, then it could be a problem because then all of a sudden when you start, oh my God, we're in the NCAA tournament, like everybody's watching, and then that's normally when players struggle that haven't had the experience. But I feel really good about her. I appreciate everybody. Thank you. Tonight, 6 o'clock. We're off at 6. Yep. I was hoping to try to go earlier so we could watch